Hi, today I'm going to be doing a face mask review. I'm going to show you a couple different types of face masks that I use usually on a weekly basis. So I don't always use the same masks every night. Sometimes I don't use a mask, but I just wanted to show you a couple different kinds. The first one I wanted to talk about is a sheet mask. I love sheet masks. I use them all the time. It's very nice to use them when I feel like I'm breaking out. So I am a big fan and I have a lot of them. So this one that I'm going to be talking about today is a pore and spot care mask. This one I actually got from my Face Story subscription, which I love. And I'm not familiar with the brand, but it's AO and it is a Korean mask. So I'm going to show you what this looks like, me putting it on, and then what my skin looks like afterwards. The next one I wanted to talk about is by Glam Glow. They're super popular cosmetic brand. This is their Super Mud. It is charcoal based and it can be used as an all over face mask or just as a spot treatment. I mostly use this as a spot treatment, but I'm going to show you what it looks like as an all over face mask and then what that looks like. I'll also link them down below, pricing and things like that, so if you guys want to check them out, you can. Here's another Glam Glow mask. This is Thirsty Mud, and I use this actually after the Super Mud because it is a hydrating mask, so it's perfect to use after the other one. And then I wanted to talk to you guys about this under eye gold mask. This is a Maskology. I actually never used the under eye mask. I've always wanted to, so I figured this review would be the perfect time to use it. It's for skin tightening, elasticity, so I'll let you guys know how I put this on. I'll show that in the video, and then what my skin or my under eye looks like afterwards. The last one that I wanted to show you guys, I've never actually used this one. It's a collagen hydrogel lip patch. So this brand is Zoe New York. I've actually never used them, but I thought this was really cool. I've never really used any masks for my lips. I usually just use a lip scrub, but I thought this would be really cool. And actually, we'll be using it now. And then I'll let it sit while you guys watch my other videos, showing you the other masks, and then we'll see what that looks like. So you just put this on clean lips, leave on for 10 to 15 minutes, then remove and pat remaining excess with fingertips to improve absorption. So I made sure that my lips were clean because I knew I was going to do this. That's kind of what it looks like. Very wet, jelly-like. So let's see what this looks like. Okay, having a hard time putting this on. Let's see.
Alright, so let's give that one more try. I'm going to put the mask back on, and then I'm going to put my timer on for 10 minutes while you guys watch the rest of the videos. I hope you enjoy. The first thing that I do before I put any mask on is make sure that I remove any makeup. I use the O Free Eye Makeup Remover by Neutrogena to get rid of any eyeshadow or mascara that I may have on that day. The next thing I do is use the Origins A Perfect World Cleanser along with my Clarisonic Mia 2. Currently using that with the Radiant brush head. I put a little bit of the cleanser on. I use it for about a minute, just all over my face. Once that's done, wash everything off and my face is clean. The next thing I do is use the Lush Bubblegum Lip Scrub. I take a little of that on my finger, rub it on my lips, and because it is vegan, you can lick it off, no issues, and it leaves my lips feeling amazing. The next step is make sure that my hair is put up, especially with this first mask that I'm going to use is pretty messy, so you want to make sure your hair is up and out of your face. The first face mask that I'm going to be using is Lush's Mask of Magnamenti. It is a face and body mask, but I mostly use it just on my face. This is the self-preserving mask, so even though it isn't fresh, it does go on feeling very fresh. It's very thick, luxurious, and it smells very minty, as you all may know. You do want to put on a pretty thin layer. You want to make sure you cover as much of your face as possible, but a little does go a long way with this mask. You do want to make sure that you get close to the skin below your eye, but not too close. That part of the skin is a little bit more sensitive, but you want to make sure you can cover as much of your face as possible. I do try to get as close to my hairline as possible. Sometimes it is a little bit hard for me. I feel like I have a smaller forehead and I do have a lot of baby hair, so it just got kind of hard to really get to the skin right on my hairline, but as best you can, you want to get as much of your face as possible covered with the mask. Once you have your mask set in place, you want to set your timer. I do it for about 10 minutes. You can do it for longer, I believe between 5 and 20 minutes, just depending on what you prefer. And then you just let it sit. Once you're done with the 10 minutes, you want to just rinse the mask off. I usually like to rub it in as I'm washing it out. It does leave my face feeling very clean, refreshing, and really smooth. I really love this face mask. It is one of my favorites. This next mask is the Glam Glow Super Mud. The mask is mostly charcoal based. It does smell a little bit like black licorice. I'm not really into that smell, but if you are, you might like that. The mask does go on very smooth. It can be used as a spot treatment or as an overall mask. I mostly use it as a spot treatment around my nose. That is where I notice I have a lot of blackheads, and it does work really well with clearing those out. Today I'm going to be using it as an overall face mask. And you want to make sure when you put it on that you are using a pretty thin layer. The mask does dry very quickly. You don't want to put too much in any spot, otherwise it won't dry very evenly around your face. When you're putting it on, just like the previous mask, you want to make sure to avoid putting it too close under your eyes. I do try to put a good amount and get around all the areas around my nose. As I said, it works really well with cleaning out any blackheads you may have there. You want to make sure that you get it around your face as much as possible. Try to get as close to your hairline. You may feel that it does feel a bit tingly when you first put it on. That just tells me that it's working, and I actually really like the way it feels on my skin. You'll notice that the bottom of my mask is already started to dry. It will get very tight once it starts drying all around your face. Once you finish putting that on, you'll want to set it anywhere between 5 to 20 minutes. I usually do 15, but I will wash it off if it dries completely before the 15 minutes. It has only been about 10 minutes, but as you can see, the mask is mostly dry. So at this point, I will wash it off. Now that I have washed off the Super Mud mask, my face does feel very clean, very tight, just a little bit on the dry end, but I do have rather dry skin, so that is probably the reason. This mask overall is not too drying, but what I'm going to use next with it is the Glam Glow Thirsty Mud. I do like to use this mask after using the Super Mud, only because the Super Mud on my skin is a little drying, so this is great to use it as a follow-up mask. And what this is just a very moisturizing mask. It is really great to use before bed. That's when I usually use it. I've heard that it's also really good for using as an in-flight mask, just because on an airplane it can be very drying. So this is a really great mask to use for that as well. So with this mask, just like the other two, you want to make sure to put a pretty thin layer on your skin. It is a little bit harder to tell with this mask because the color is a nice tan color, so you can't really see it as well on your skin as you can the Super Mud. But I just go ahead and fill it out as I'm putting it on. Make sure that I'm not getting too close to my under eye, just like the previous mask. And I do like to concentrate on areas on my face where I put a lot more of that Super Mud mask. So my nose is one of those areas. As you're putting it on, you'll feel that the mask is very refreshing. And you can almost really feel it seeping into your pores, which is really nice. That just tells me that it's going to be very moisturizing. And depending on how long you leave it on your face and what you do afterwards, you can really lock in a lot of that moisture. I do make sure to put some of it on my neck as well. Once you're done putting the mask on, then you want to make sure to set your timer. You can leave this on for around 10 to 20 minutes. Sometimes the longer you leave it on, the better, because it is very moisturizing. I usually leave it on for about 10 minutes. You can, of course, leave it on for longer, just depending on your preference. While I'm waiting, I'm just going to go ahead and read this new book that I bought. As I mentioned with this mask, you can leave it on between 10 to 20 minutes. I usually leave it on for about 10, and then there is some excess left over, and I just like to rub that into my skin, try to get into all the areas where maybe the mask wasn't setting on my skin as much. Of course, you can just rub the excess off with a towel, but I do prefer to rub it in. I feel like it helps keep more of the moisture in, and it's just really nice going to bed after having this mask on and just waking up feeling really moisturized and really hydrated. This next face mask is a pore and spot care mask by AO. This was part of my February Face Story subscription. It is a sheet mask. I love sheet masks. They're probably my favorite masks to use. This one, as you can see, has a lot of moisture in it. So what I do is I just usually try to set it on my forehead first, around my eyes, and then work my way down, patting it into my skin. This one is a little tricky. It has a plastic cover on the front, which I've never actually used a face mask with that, but I just set it first and then peel that plastic part off. This mask is super moisturizing. You can see how wet the sheet mask is. So what I do is I just press it in around my face, make sure it's really tight to my skin, and that the areas around my eyes and my mouth and my nose are actually set correctly. So with this mask, around 10 to 20 minutes. So I'm setting that for 15. After the 15 minutes, I'm ready to take my mask off. It's just really simple. You can just pull that off. This mask had a lot of moisture in it. As you can see, my baby hairs and just the area around my forehead is pretty wet. But what you do is just pat the rest of the moisture in. When I use sheet masks, they're actually usually not this moisturizing. Usually there is a little bit of patting that I have to do, but with this mask, there's just a lot of moisture. It may benefit to leave that on a little bit longer, but 15 minutes is usually the max that I will leave a face mask on. So just want to spread the rest of that moisture just all around your face. Make sure you cover any areas that maybe you didn't get with the mask originally, especially the neck. With this mask, I did feel very refreshed. I did feel that the moisture was really getting into my skin, and I felt like my skin was glowing and just felt really hydrated overall. Sheet masks in general are very hydrating, so this one was no exception. You'll find that they are a pretty easy and quick way to make sure that your skin is staying moisturized, especially right before bed or overnight. The next mask is the Maskology Under Eye Gold Gel Mask. These go right below your eyes, and they're really nice for tightening elasticity in that area. I've never tried these before, but I have been wanting to for a while, so I'm excited to try these. What you do is just put these right below your eyes. These are really easy, they're not very messy. They do feel very hydrating when you put them on right below your eyes, and they go on very easily. Once I have these in place, I will set my timer for 20 minutes and then we'll just wait and see. With the under eye mask, while I wore them, I didn't really feel anything going on. To be honest, these didn't feel very moisturized, so I'm not sure if I would try them again, but I did like the fact that the eye mask stayed on really nicely. I didn't have to worry about them slipping off, but there also wasn't a lot of moisture left over, so there wasn't a lot to pat in. They worked okay, but just don't feel super moisturized.
So it's been 10 minutes. I took the lip mask off. There wasn't a lot of excess liquid, so I don't have to tap in much. Don't know how I feel about this one. It was really hard to, not hard to put on, but it wouldn't stay on. So I had to keep rearranging it while it was on there for those 10 minutes. So I don't know if I would recommend this one. There may be other hydrogel lip patches that are better, but I probably wouldn't use this one. I mean, my lips feel okay, but I just use a lip scrub to get rid of whatever excess skin is on my lips, so probably not a big fan of this one. But you should have watched all the other videos that I did for my other face masks. I hope that you liked them. And actually, I don't know if I don't think I talked about this one in the beginning of the video. Wow. So let me do it now. The Mask of Magna Minty is one of the other face masks that you probably already saw in the video, probably the first one that you saw actually. I just forgot to mention it. This one I use a lot. I've bought several times. It is self-preserving. I'm sure you heard more about it during the video, so I apologize I forgot to mention this in the beginning. I had some technical difficulties, so I had to restart it. But all the different face masks that I talked about They will all be linked down below so that you can check them out if you'd like. Feel free to comment down below if you've used these, if you have any comments about them, whether you like them, you don't like them. They, of course, won't have the same reaction on all skin types. I am dry skin, so a lot of these, like I said, I use these two together because I feel like if I use this one by itself, it's very drying, so I always finish it off with the Glam Go Thirsty Med because it just keeps me really moisturized. But this one is really great for spot treatment, pores, getting, you know, them all cleaned out and all of that. So of course, comment below if you've used these, what you think of them, recommendations for other skin masks, face masks that you've tried that maybe I would enjoy if I haven't tried them yet. There are a lot of the ones that I've tried. I just didn't mention all of them, but feel free to comment that down below. Feel free to like the video or subscribe if you want to watch more videos like this. I hope to see you next time.